What's up? Okay, so really quick, my best friend asked me a question pretty recently. He asked me, "Do you know any music? Because I've been listening to music and I've been getting bored. Nothing interests me." And really thought about that. You know, as you see over here, I have a pretty nice selection of stuff. But to hear him say anything new, anything old that catches my attention, so I thought I'd make a video suggesting some stuff. If you're getting tired of listening to the same stuff, you need some new albums, this is for you, all right? I got 3 projects here that you should check out. All kind of well known, so you'll be comfortable, nothing too abstract. I like rock music, but I also like, rap music and pop music. So I'm going to be including that, sort of a kind of a amalgamation of the 3 genres, picking out 3 albums that I think you should listen to and that need to be heard. Okay, the first one I'd say is pretty popular. It's pretty well known. I wouldn't say that it's like an underground. It was a big hit when it came out. I'm talking about Late Registration, Kanye West. Kanye West was a producer who got signed to Jay-Z's label, and he produced tracks, and then he made his own solo record, College Dropout, got into a car accident, mouth taped shut, recorded a song called Through the Wire, and his career just exploded. So this is his sophomore release, his second record. I had always been a Kanye West fan. I always knew his hit songs. I remember when Flashing Lights first came out. I think I was about like 6 at the time, right? 2007. Graduation, I bought that when it first came out. I listened to that record for years when I was a little kid. I had it on CD. I loved all the songs on it except the Drunken Hot Girls. But Late Registration was something that I never really got around to until pretty recently. I kind of grew out of rap and pop music like that, and I kind of moved towards rock music. It was up until recently that I thought I'd buy the album because I'd never really listened to it all the way through. I've listened to Graduation, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I never really listened to Late Registration. And boy, I really should have. This album is a perfect representation of what Kanye West was back in the day. Number one, he was a producer, a beatsmith, and some of his instrumentals on here are just breathtaking. Addiction is one of my favorites. He talks about his addictions to vices. Why is everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good? Diamonds from Sierra Leone with that surprise Jay-Z feature. I just kind of put the CD in, and when the song comes in and Jay-Z comes in, you're like, oh shit. Some really beautiful tracks on here like Heard Him Say and Celebration. Kanye West has always kind of been sort of a comedian in a lot of ways. He likes to have fun of his songs, especially in Celebration. In Heard Him Say, Adam Levine actually comes in and he sings this beautiful, beautiful hook. Obviously, Gold Digger was the big hit off of this one, and Gold Digger is always great. But my personal favorite track is We Major. We Major is beautiful. It makes you feel like you're in this grand city. The horns that blare and the drums that are right down the middle. It's a beautiful track. This is an album that I think you should listen to all the way through. I don't really pick songs from it. I just have to kind of listen to it all the way through. It's very strong. It's very good. And if you really haven't listened to Kanye West and you want to listen to an album, which you should listen to albums, Late Registration's my pick. Okay, we're shifting gears. We're going from a more popular release to a band that created a new identity and stuck to it and focused on lyric writing and political messages at this point in their career. I'm talking about the Beach Boys. Surf's Up. Obviously, the Beach Boys are one of the biggest bands out of America. Good Vibrations is one of the best-selling singles of all time, if not the best, I think. I don't know. But, Brian Wilson being the lead producer for this band, and Carl Wilson, Dennis Wilson, Mike Love, Bruce Johnston, they really come together, and they have beautiful melodies, beautiful harmonies. But Brian Wilson had a mental breakdown in around 1967 or somewhere around that, scrapped the whole album that he had been working on, and kind of went into a deep depression and stayed in bed for 2 years. They had released a couple albums before this one. This one is 1971 or 1972. But I think their best from the era after Brian Wilson's mental breakdown is Surf's Up for me. There's a lot of great political messages in here, really interesting production techniques. It is a rock pop record, so there are some pop songs, and obviously there is rock on here. They're really catchy, but they also rock hard. And if you're not really familiar with rock music, this is something that you can palate. There are some funny songs here, some joke songs, like Take a Load Off Your Feet, which admittedly is a little goofy, but it still has great melodies, and it's fun, and you know that they actually enjoy writing what they write. Disney Girls is a great one too, sung by Bruce Johnston, one of his best songs, talking about youth and how when you're younger you have this grandeur of marriage and you like to have fun. You make wine in your garage and you go out to the movies and you think that your life is like Disneyland, but it's not. Life sucks. Moving on to the Welfare Song, sung by Al Jardine, talking about a person who's homeless, and super moody, super atmospheric. It really touches. Stuff like Till I Die, which Brian Wilson sings, the lyrics on it are great. I'm a cork in the ocean, floating over the raging sea. It's some really good poetry. And like I'm saying, man, the melodies are just beautiful. Genius stuff here. And look at this album cover. It's the statue. I think it's called, the Last Ride, I think. Backstory is it's a Native American going back to where he lived, but on a wounded horse, and he himself is mortally wounded, so he slunched over his horse. It's very powerful imagery, yeah? Seriously, this is one of my favorite Beach Boys records and a great rock record, and I think everybody should listen to it. And if you're looking for something new, yeah, this is good. Alrighty, moving on from the sort of sad, moody, to more upbeat, more grandurous, if that's even a word. We're talking about a band called Supertramp, and the album is Breakfast in America. This is one of the biggest rock albums for this band. This was their hit. Beautiful New York City skyline. On the back, it's the band being served by the waitress and the cook right there. It's a perfect representation for this album, really. This is a British band, and they were really trying to hit it big. And so they thought about America, the grandeurs of capitalism and great structures and Hollywood. This sound for the album is very bright, and the singing is very bright, but the subject material is so dark. There were 2 hit songs off here, well, a couple of them, but the main ones were Breakfast in America and Logical Song. Logical Song, obviously, is super famous, and you've probably heard it before and you didn't even know about it. Like I said, the lyric material here is great. Logical Song is about them growing up in the British school system and them teaching them how to stay conformed and not have any cool ideas, just to be logical, to be precise, to be pessimistic, not to be optimistic, not to be hopeful, not to have dreams. All the songs on here are mostly driven by keyboards. That's Supertramp's staple, keyboards and the vocals. Some really interesting material here too. There's 2 lead singers, so you may figure that, some people are singing one song, the other singing the other song. Like in Goodbye Stranger, where the subject material is about the singer's one-night stands and life and rock and roll, and saying, I hope you have a good life, but I gotta go. That's it. It's the morning. I gotta go. Stuff like Gone Hollywood, which is really going Hollywood, and the dude living next to a Taco Bell and saying, is this it? It's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I live in Hollywood, so it's pretty accurate. Beautiful stuff like Old Darling 2, which is just a straight up love song. Stuff like Take the Long Way Home, about the singer's troubled relationship with his wife because he's constantly touring, and he's dreading the time he has to come home and really start being a family man again. To him, it's harder than going out and performing live and slaving away. It's quite an interesting topic. If you've never heard this, you really should. You should own it. You should really own all the records that I have here. Listen to them through all the way. Let's read the lyrics. Pay attention to the drums, the guitar, the vocals. Pay attention. You might find that you'll love something. All right, those are just some recommendations for entertainment, for some music. If you like this stupid little video, let me know. Let me do some more. Obviously, I've done videos in the past, so if you haven't seen those, go ahead and see them. I'm a musician, so music is a big part of my life, and I hope you enjoyed.